So I'm April Tiddei. I'm a user experience analyst at Yale. And today I'm going to talk to you about building experiences with AI at Yale. So I'm excited to share this journey of AI at Yale. So we've been through quite a bit so far. The beginning, I'm going to talk about the beginning, testing and launch, what we're doing now, and then how we're actually taking a step back and looking into the future. So our beginning with AI started probably much like your own personal experience with the latest technology advancement. And everybody's talking about it, it's everywhere, AI, AI, AI. So Yale sites went right ahead and, so embracing this technology of AI, right, you can't deny the benefits. It's going to make everything more efficient, scalable, personalization, data-driven decisions, innovation. So we need to embrace it. And Yale sites did. We jumped right in on it, and we created, you might be familiar with it, it's Ask Yale. So this is a chatbot on our Drupal-based sites, so our Yale sites, which is our Drupal-based platform that we just released. We also launched a Ask Yale chatbot on it. So it indexes all the site content and then assists the site user with the chat experience. So now it is going to be renamed to Beacon. So Ask Yale is now Beacon. And it's currently still in early stages. I spoke, if you guys were in Portland for the DrupalCon, I spoke on that. We had 1, now we have 8. So we have 8 sites using this now. So but yet it's still in early stages. It is Yale login protected to make sure that good intentioned people are using it, and that's our community. And it only interacts, an important thing to know is it only interacts with public data, public content pages. And then one of my favorite features that I want to point out is our citations. So for me as a UX designer, having that transparency of why the chatbot is answering the way that it is and getting back to that information, which is essentially you click on that citation, it's going to summarize it, and then you click again, it takes you to the website of your Yale site directly, so then the user can follow that path and get more information or validate it. So that level of transparency is really exciting for me. But as we embraced this technology and launched it, we soon realized a huge challenge, and that was testing and launching it. So why AI testing is different than other testing? Well, it's more than just functional testing. It provides different answers to the same question. The answer now has personality attached to it, and the user, it's open-ended. The user can ask it anything, and it's going to provide an answer. And then last, it evolves with the technology. It's constantly updating, and as the site owners are updating content, it's also going to update. So it's not constant. How do you test something that's moving? Our answer is we came up with a testing approach where we're empowering the site owner through training. So onboarding, so we go through tons of training where we kind of treat the AI bot as onboarding a team member. So you need to assign it a manager. You need to teach it. You need to onboard it with information. And you need to constantly check in with it, maintain it. It becomes part of your team. It's not something you can set it and leave it. And that's something that we really have to make clear before putting it on their site. Then another thing that AI is so good at is it can hallucinate or make an answer that's wrong sound really, really good. That's what it's programmed to do. It does its job almost too well. So how can you have a regular testing team that doesn't know the content test something that sounds like it could be true? So when we faced that problem, we really had to turn around and assign subject matter experts. So now this is giving another level of responsibility to content owners. So now it's saying, okay, you're the subject matter expert on these policies, these grants. You have to test this bot, sign off on it, and that it's giving the right answer. So this is actually benefiting beyond AI, because now we have content, like we have people responsible for their content to a different level that we didn't have before. So another exercise that we do is risk assessment to really assess possible risk, because it's no longer a limited playing field. You know, now we have to also flip the table and ask ourselves what harmful responses, right? Or what high risk content topics really need that extra risk value assigned to it. You know, is this high risk? Is this low risk? How much testing should we do? How much content does it need? You know, and flipping that on that, you know, flipping the questions, not just to get answers that we want the user to get, but also asking the right questions for the answers we don't want them to get. And then evaluating those answers. So what we did is we created a grading rubrics. So for accuracy, relevance, coherence, and engagement. So those are the things that now it's not just, is it correct? Does it have the right tone? You know, we are launching this on Yale Health. So now people can go to it and talk about medical advice, or not medical advice, but medical coverage advice. And that needs a level of tone that it needs to be handled correctly. So that's high risk, and it's an example of you know, having that accuracy and coherent, and is it engaging? So we flipped the turns, and instead of being a, you know, like instead of jumping and going really fast out of the gate to get on this AI, launching, we take the soft approach, we slow down, right? Testing on a small scale. So by launching small, soft launch, nobody knows about it, handful of people, handful a little bit more people, start with one department, start with a little, mention it here. You know, by doing that, you can iterate on it, you can get feedback, you lower your risk, because if you raise the if you raise the curtain and say, hey, look at this, you know, you may be setting yourself up for, you know, issues. So, and in the end, we've had a lot of success with this soft launch that leads to better outcomes. So this brings us to the now. So for Yale sites and Beacon, we're actively iterating on Yale sites Beacon. But we're doing this in collaboration with both the site owners that are going to be managing it and the end users who are using it. So a few updates that we've done recently is we created an importer to integrate nodes. So this is really helpful, because the importer are service tickets. So we needed the chatbot to know, to be able to talk about the service tickets, but that's in a different platform. So now we've created an importer to take that information, bring it in and create nodes, so now the AI can see it. Opt in to adding media for PDFs, because a lot of information is in PDFs, we love it, yes. So, but now, by doing this, the AI can understand and take that information out of the PDFs. Heading-based chunking. So if you're not familiar with how AI works, you know, it chunks content to better understand it and to kind of relate to it. It's kind of how it parses and thinks. So what we've done is made an update to kind of tell it to chunk by headings. So we're helping it understand the content better. Increase, another AI term is tokens. So that's another way the AI thinks. It breaks up those chunks and then assigns tokens, and then it does its, you know, magic to create the answer. So we've upped the token limit from 3,000 to 8,000. And then we're also exploring ways right now to bulk manage indexing. So instead of having to go in and just turn on one page or not turn on, we're looking to where you can bulk manage multiple nodes to turn on the AI or turn it off. Just to clarify, the chatbot will be on the site always. It's a matter of if it's going to recognize and read the content on that node. So it's indexing. So embracing other efforts, right? So AI opportunities are everywhere, and each effort can build on the success of others. So the community recently introduced and launched Clarity, which is a secure general purpose AI chatbot that is freely available to Yale staff, students, and faculty. So by doing this, we're actually learning from that experience to see how the community interacts with it, understands it, and transfer that knowledge and learn from it to other AI efforts like our Beacon on Yale sites. And then another thing that I'm really excited that we're doing, and I'm very involved in right now, is we're taking a step back to move forward. And what I mean by that is we're actually going back to the user. So we're currently conducting several focus groups on generative AI within representation of all affiliations on Yale, in the Yale community. And once we get this insight, so we're really looking to see how to better serve and cater, enable, empower the Yale community with this AI. And we need to know how they feel about it. What do they need? Why are they using it? Why are they afraid to use it? So that's really why we're doing these focus groups, to take a step back and get to be able to communicate and support AI efforts to the community. So once we get this information from the users in the Yale community, then we're going to take that with our stakeholders' information, and then we're going to shape kind of an AI strategy going forward. So I'm pretty excited about this work. And now looking ahead to the future, so what's next for Beacon and Yale sites? So we are in the works of, but it's not going to be too soon, a self-service feature, so site owners will be able to turn on Beacon if they want it, and then manage the AI settings for themselves. Then another goal is kind of designating a separate content storage area that will be for AI. So that's kind of right now all AI content has a node associated to it. So, but what we're finding in use cases is there's information that we need to give the AI that doesn't necessarily need to be on the website. So now we kind of need this content storage area that's here's some more information to the AI bot. And then we want to, as for Yale sites, we want to embrace AI features for site owners, just in the admin building experience. So we want to kind of include enhanced search with AI features. Image alt text is something that I'm excited to try and experiment with AI to generate, because everybody knows that that's not the easiest thing to do, and it's, but it's needed for accessibility reasons. So, and then also features on the WYSIWYG, we're gonna explore those. And then we do have plans. Drupal AI advancements are exciting and they're up and coming, and we do plan to align our efforts to that as much as we can, and contribute back to the Drupal community. So I leave off kind of with the idea of, by embracing AI, Yale is opening new doors for innovation and growth. It's an exciting time, and we are proceeding with caution, but it's ultimately, I feel like AI is the key to kind of building those experiences that technology needs. Thank you.
Can you give an example of a piece of information that might not belong on the website, but should be accessed via a chatbot on the website?
That is a great question. So the question was, can I give an example of information that shouldn't necessarily be available on the website, but available in the chatbot? And I want to say it's supporting information that provides like it's supporting information. So it may be detailed information about a policy, right? Where we have a summary on the website, but we don't have the detailed knowledge that the AI bot needs to answer it exactly, like to answer it better, I should say.
Follow-up, how do you intend to handle your citation policy if it's not visible?
Yes, great question. It still is going to require a point to. So in that case, you will, if the example I gave where you have a policy that's really long and in complicated terms and stuff, but on the website we have a summary, it will point to the summary and perhaps a call out to contact somebody. Because grants and policies, they're you're getting into the weeds here, and and we can't rely on the chatbot. We can only rely on the chatbot so far. So by setting it up in that kind of experience where you're not providing every fine detail of the policy or the grant approval, but you're providing a summary and a point of contact, somebody or next step. If it's not necessarily contacting somebody, maybe it's filling out a form or such. So that's the kind of experience that we're running into that we didn't think we needed, but we are. Yes.
Have you done any environmental impact assessments on these systems compared to what would be happening otherwise if you didn't have these systems?
Yes. So we are partnering. Well, we're in connection with the school, Yale School of Environment, and we're kind of working with them on sustainability issues regarding AI, because that is something that needs to be addressed. So I don't have an exact answer, but I do know that we are exploring it, and we have to find that right path where we're embracing the technology, but we are also caring about the impact. Yes.
You talked about enhanced search in one of the last slides.
Mm-hmm.
We've been experimenting with Google Vertex AI search and conversational search for universities, but also for other clients. What technology are you looking at, and what does that enhanced search really mean?
That's a great question. So the question was, what is the enhanced AI features of search? And to be honest, I'm not sure yet. So we're still in very early stages. I know it's up for conversation. Our developers have ideas and we're looking at stuff, but it's in very, very early phases. Yes.
I just wondered, I know you mentioned that you guys, started piloting it with one site, but how did you get the buy-in to do that pilot? Like, where was that propelled, push to
Mm-hmm.
put resources into AI?
Just the advancement and with it, the boom, we gotta embrace it, we need it. It's here, and that kind of rush to innovate on it and work with it, I want to say. So that just AI's here, how can we embrace it? And we saw an opportunity, and it kind of had we were launching Yale Sites, which is our Drupal-based platform, and it kind of just aligned really well that we have a vendor that we work with 4 kitchens, and at the time it just kind of the stars aligned where we can add an AI. Let's do this, and so we spun up, and the leaders found, the first site that we launched it on is Yale Hospitality. So for dining halls, so we took a topic that's a little lighter, that will be softer, but since then we're now doing finance, we're now doing Yale Health. We've definitely taken more sensitive information and topics, but we started out with a softer, hey, where can I find chicken nuggets today? What dining hall is open? Where can I get pizza? Tons of pizza questions, So I think by choosing a site that's a little bit more fun, really helped us with getting that first one out. Yes?
Pardon me if I missed this earlier in the presentation, but what LLM did you use as the baseline for this? LLM is the large language model, and we are using Microsoft's Azure, and then we're going from that. Okay, so that was something that you already had access to within Yale?
Yep, the Microsoft. Yeah, because we use
GPT, right?
it. Is.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Yale's entire website included or just this feature?
No, not. The Yale's websites are not all on so it's complicated. Like everybody else, we have a large amount of sites. We have Yale sites, which is a section, a platform, and then that can be chunked into, we have legacy sites, which are D7, and then we have Yale sites, the new platform, which is everything that we talk about, where it's the layout builder, it's locked in, it's, it's kind of uniting everything and this grand thing that we've been working on for years now. And so that's just one segment, and then there's multiple other aspects like Yale EDU and like other Yale sites that are not on Yale sites. So the answer is no, we are not. We're all over. Mm-hmm. Where can you eat pizza? That's a great question. It is. I feel like I guess my personal favorite is Modern, but I know people are gonna yell at me maybe. I don't know. I guess not, because I'm the only person that came from Connecticut. So Pepe's, there you go. Yep, and Frank's, and Modern's my favorite. As for the dining halls, we'll have to ask the AI bot. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. We did kind of tack on this effort with the Yale site launch. So it was an AI at the end. Let's do this.
This is probably a beginner question, but when you were testing the AI and saying, yes, this is an accurate answer, this is a hallucination, is that what happens with that? Do you tell the AI this is wrong and then it fixes it? Or how does that work?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. So the question was, once we identify that an answer, once we're testing and an answer is wrong, what then? What do we do? And really, to kind of map out the AI in really light terms, right? You have where your content, where it's living, so what it's referencing. So those are your web pages with the word, all your content on your site. Then you have a system prompt, right? Which that system prompt kind of tells who they are, who the bot is. So, the tone, what it needs to do, what it's thinking, it really gives them, it's a code snippet that you're telling and you're programming it to kind of give it its identity. So then you have the system prompt, and then you have the large language model, and then you have the results. So that's kind of the basis, and really it ends up being 2 kind of points. If it's giving out a bad result, a bad answer, it's either content issue, and the citations help a lot because you could click it and be like, where did it get this answer from? Click, oh, it's talking about this and it's thinking this, right? So most times it will be a content issue. In the early phases, it's a system prompt issue. One example of that is, for Yale Health, if it's not
talking with enough empathy, or like it's just being the tone is just completely off for dealing with something that's, you know, where the user's going through a medical problem and issues. Like, you can't treat it just like anybody, and you need empathy for that. That's a system prompt example. And so typically it falls into one or two of those. Occasionally it'll be like, wait, I don't, you know, it's some sort of like, you gotta look under the hood even further, but that hasn't happened as much. So it's really the content or the system prompt. But you gotta be careful, because if you update the system prompt, you have to kind of retest everything, because that's changing all answers. You know, so that's, you really don't wanna, when you get to a certain point, you really don't wanna update that prompt. Mm-hmm.
When you were answering Nate and describing how there may be content that gets referenced that is not publicly available, it's not on sites, it set off a little alarm for me that how do you ensure that that gets kept up to date, because it's not necessarily easily accessible, and that's an added layer of responsibility on the content owners that may not be super aware of, gee, I've updated that policy, or I didn't update that policy. I run into policies that are out of date all the time.
Right,
So
yeah.
How do you ensure that that's actually accurate and current?
Yeah, so the question was kind of, how do you ensure that content's maintained and updated, especially if we embrace this kind of like hidden information, which we haven't done yet. So these are great questions for me to take back. But to kind of provide what answer we're looking at right now is, it still needs a point of source. So that will not go away. So they have to point it somewhere. And there has to be a content that subject matter. There's an assigned owner to that policy, to those. And what's the greatest part about these bots too, is it's really like identifying content issues. It's rising it to the top, where now that subject matter experts that's now responsible for updating that policy has a little bit more responsibility, because the AI, because it's so easily accessible. It's like, now it's putting a spotlight on all your content at any moment. So there's like a level of when you add this bot that like content's like, you know, paid attention to, and a level of responsibilities assigned to it, that is pretty awesome. Because even if a user is not using that, even if a user is not using the bot, they're now gonna get up-to-date content that's designed well, written well. You know, there's benefits beyond the bot for this effort, and that's one of them. Yes?
So do you guys, in the same way that, you know, for web traffic, you know, we all use like Google Analytics or other tools to see what's being requested. Does Azure provide basically analytics, like, oh, hey, we've served these answers?
Yeah, we turned all that off. We do not keep, for like privacy reasons, we do not track, log, or keep the chats. So, you know, no. So even if it can do it, we did not do it. We opted not to do that. That was another way of kind of pushing this along and getting it out the door, is because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, am I being watched? Am I being tracked? You know, how does it know what I'm asking, when I'm asking? You know, and so we do not keep any data from it.
Do you guys worry about not knowing how the content's performing?
Yes.
Because in the same way, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
people like, this page is so important. It's like, no one has visited this page.
Yeah. I mean, we still have the site data. So, I mean, now that's only going so far, because they would have to click into the citation and then go to it. So it's a little disconnected. We do have a feedback, you know, submit your feedback. Of course, that's a form. It's not the greatest, but, you know, however, if somebody has a bad experience, they do voice it. So, and then it does get brought up to the top. Any other questions?
What has been the kind of response to that, like the feedback that you're getting from users?
Right, right. Surprisingly, it's mixed. I mean, no, like you're right. Anybody who's filled out the form is not happy and wants it fixed right away. And anybody who is happy with it, we just kind of hear that the community in general is, a little happy with it. There'll be the occasion, like I'm at a Yale event and I'll hear somebody say, oh, I asked hospitality this question, and I like write it down and, go fix the answer. But so it's not an ideal feedback stream yet. We're brainstorming on ways to kind of make that better, but without, tracking it, without, embedding, some way of tracking, we're kind of stuck where we are in just, whoever lets us know. Yes.
Might be a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about something similar to what ChatGPT does, where it sometimes will ask you, "Is this what you are looking for?"
Yeah.
And then get feedback that way.
If we do that, we have to save the responses. And
What about anonymously?
anonymously,
Just like the yes, no.
yes, no, or the thumbs up anonymously, or they agree to it. We've talked about that, but it still hasn't gone over well with the leads. It's pretty, let's keep this, let's not enter that privacy chat, like privacy conversation. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.